Here from the Hannibal TV on YouTube with a daily wrestling news update for you. Christmas special, Christmas Eve special. Ric Flair, I know what, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. There's a bunch of cameos that have been out of him lately. Some of them, like the one he did last night at the bar, it appeared he was drunk. A lot of people, I'll show you a clip from this latest one right now, a short clip from this cameo. And then I'm going to tell you why I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on this one.
Chris and Leanna from Dad and Heidi. Congratulations. Getting married.
How you doing, Mr.
It's phenomenal. I think that's the most awesome thing you could possibly do. My son Chris is marrying the love of his life, Leanna. That's really important. The love of his.
So there you go. I mean, I'm watching that, and it looks more to me like he may have had a stroke. It might be a little bit buzzed, but for the people saying that he is completely drunk in that one, I don't think he is. He seemed way more drunk in the one he did yesterday. I mean, let's even take a little quick review of the one he did yesterday. I think he was on different stuff, but the thing I wanted to bring up is he's got a lawsuit going on. He's got Woo Energy, that energy drink that some people are saying was part of some type of money laundering scheme now. He's got so much going on. Does he really need to be making these? I don't know. Okay, so I'll play you right now. I'll share the screen of the one from yesterday. You can, let's play it here. You can probably hear me talking. Let's share the screen. Share.
I guess it's a beautiful gift. I'm not sure why. Oh, bachelor gift. Gotcha, man. Eric is a tattoo.
See, I'm even uncomfortable watching this. I mean, I feel bad for the guy. I think he was definitely drunk in that one. This one, I think there's something wrong with him. R.I.P. Solomon Grundy. But let's just talk a little bit about his problems. As far as Woo Energy drink, I was curious to know if it's still around. You can buy it right from the website or on Amazon. It's available at On the Run convenience stores only in Missouri. And I guess the federal lawsuit involving Flair and Mike Tyson, that I thought was just about I guess the Woo Energy drink is part of the marijuana company. So the lawsuit is also against the energy drink, which is interesting because as recently as a couple weeks ago, he was drinking that energy drink on podcast. But I guess as far as the lawsuit, it's a 76-page lawsuit that was filed last week with 21 federal complaints, including criminal wire fraud, embezzlement, money laundering, extortion, securities fraud, and self-dealing, whatever that is. And they said specific claims include treating the company as a quote-unquote piggy bank with over $1 million spent on private jets, yachts, home renovations, and lavish entertainment. So basically, they're accusing them of fraudulently using this company to have business expenses, which is really for their own personal gain. Apparently they may have sold unauthorized licensing rights, and I mean AEW is involved with it as well. So I mean that's actually a big thing. So maybe that's why he's going off the deep end a bit. A lot of bizarre stuff. And by the way, Ric Flair was insulting me a couple weeks ago. I'm not picking on him. I'm an honest reporter. You guys can look. A lot of people sent that clip to me. I don't think he's completely wasted or anything in that clip I just played today. The one where he's outside saying good stuff about the wedding, which contradicts the one he did yesterday, telling the person not to get married. I'm honest. I don't think he's wasted. I think he's having health issues. I don't think he's in very good health. The marks on his face are either because he's falling down or it's skin cancer. He has documented. He's had it on his arms. He's had taken off his face. I mean, this guy is 76 years old. He doesn't seem to be doing well. So that's my report on him. By the way, his former son-in-law, who he teamed up in his last match with a few years ago, Andrade, has been released from his no compete clause with WWE. Which, by the way, everyone's making a big deal. The one appearance he made on AEW got a 0.08 rating, so it's not like when he appeared on AEW before it was a high-rated show. No, it was only a 0.08. To put that into perspective, SmackDown did a 0.21 last Friday night, which is a 25% decline from the previous year. Under 1 million people watch SmackDown, but again, 0.21. So it's not like that episode where Andrade appeared pulled a massive rating. I mean, the only talk about it was that I guess he did it without WWE's signing off on it. But is Andrade going to be the guy that takes AEW out of 700 to 1,000 seat buildings and starts packing 20,000 seat arena again? No. And yes, I know AEW still does 20,000 seat arenas and stadiums. But this week they're also doing a Hammerstein Ballroom where a lot of independent companies run. WWE apparently might be able to sign Dan Housen soon, or Dan Housen. Before he was signed by AEW, he actually had more momentum on the indies before he went to AEW, where I guess he's been in AEW. I don't know if it's been 3 years or 5 years, but his contract is up. And I guess it's unknown if WWE is going to pick him up or not at this point. But there's a guy that actually had more buzz on the indie scene than in AEW. Speaking of the indies, Deadlock Pro Wrestling is going on a hiatus. Another one of the indies that, I mean, it's hard to run indies these days because when wrestling isn't killing it at the top levels, people don't want to go see it at the bottom levels either. And if you want to talk about how great it's doing, then why are they going to Saudi Arabia next year, taking the $150 million payoff? Yeah, I get it. But there's also not a big interest right now in the US and Canada in wrestling. WWE only did like 4 or 5 shows in Canada this year. AEW only did 2 shows in Canada. Do you think that's because there's a huge demand? No, it's because there's very little interest. Jack Perry did an interview where he talked about his backstage fight with CM Punk and says he feels like he's grown up from it. There was a lot of drama in the back at that time. He felt that the altercation freed him. And he said he just wanted everyone to like him. So I don't know. All I can tell you, and again, I hope the wrestling business does better, but I do feel that WWE made the most of that backstage fight. Did it because they used CM Punk's momentum out of that to get him super over in WWE for a while. He's not like with Jack Perry, for instance. What did AEW do to use the momentum of that backstage altercation everyone was talking about? Nothing happened out of it. He did a suspension, then they just didn't bring him back. Then I don't even know what they've done with him the few times they have brought him back. they kind of like totally wasted the momentum that he had. Someone says, do I think Flair is suffering from a phase of dementia? I am not a doctor, so I'm not going to make any medical comments. Although I do think that his speech issues that he seems to be having could be about more than just taking something. Give me a thumbs up for Christmas. I really appreciate it. 513,000 subscribers, by the way. Really appreciate it. Let's see if I can get 515 before the new year. And let's see if I can get 1 million by 2027. I'm going to work so hard on this channel in 2026. Somebody says more of these fools are paying for Ric Flair's drunken ramblings. It's $600 a cameo, which is a lot. Someone says, you know what to expect from Ric Flair. Rick is a sneak and a liar. You know what? For the longest time, he was my favorite wrestler. He made stuff up about me a few weeks ago and took shots at me that I think were uncalled for because I did nothing but report on the same things that other people reported on. And yes, then I turned it up. I turned it up a notch to the point where none other than Hustler Rip Rogers, former WWE trainer, said I'm the best heel on the internet. The same guy that trained Brock Lesnar and John Cena said this about me. So anyways, I turned it up on Ric Flair. But I'm just saying he caused a fight for no reason. He shouldn't have even addressed me. And then he picks on me. And I end up losing my fandom of him over it. Because then I go back and hear what people have said about him and think twice, and then I'm like, you know what? Maybe they were right about Ric Flair. Maybe he is a really insecure guy with an alcohol problem that's a master manipulator. Maybe that's the real reason he did so well. Someone says the Saudis owning WWE archive is sickening. I don't know. I mean, Seth Rollins just did a big thing about how he's getting more used to the whole Saudi Arabia thing. The whole purpose of it is to make people forget about the issues of things that go on there. And I'm no political activist, so I won't even get into it, but you guys can look it up. There are some terrible things that go on there. Horrible things that go on there. And to do these events and throw these monies at athletics is kind of to distract people from what's going on. Has it improved over the past few years? I don't know. I really don't know. TKO is going to squeeze every penny out of WWE, then sell to Saudi Arabia. I agree. And keep in mind, as I reported yesterday, The Rock made supposedly something like 40 million a year the past couple years. So they still have The Rock in their back pocket. He just rarely appeared this year. He only appeared, I think, for the Cena thing. And maybe he appeared on NXT. I can't remember if that was this year or last year when he went on NXT and just dropped a bunch of F-bombs just to be like, hey, I'm The Rock. I can do whatever I want. But I agree. I think TKO is going to overcharge for tickets, put on like 4-match cards for people paying 10,000 plus for tickets, and then they go home disappointed and stuff. Just be really cheap about things, cut out house shows and so forth. They'll suck everything out of it until a lot of fans get turned off, and then it's going to be like, okay, we're not making that much money anymore. Let's just sell to Saudi Arabia and take our ball and go home. That's what I think is going to happen, because I think a lot of people are getting turned off, and even the super fans are getting turned off of everything you have to pay just to watch it. If you want to watch the pay-per-views, $30 to ESPN, plus you got to pay for Netflix. And I'm saying if you live in the US, you got to pay for ESPN and Netflix. And if you want to see specials here and there, up to this point, you also had to pay for Peacock. I think they're done with Peacock now. I think Peacock canceled them. You also need to get the CW on cable if you want to watch NXT. Canada, we're lucky. Everything is on Netflix. Modern wrestling is on life support. I got no interest. Like, let me think about what I watched in wrestling lately. I've been watching a lot of superstars and challenges from 86, 87, because I started becoming a fan in 89, 90. So these are new to me. And I'm very entertained by those years of wrestling. And I watch shoot interviews, but there's not even been anything interesting in the wrestling news this week. Literally, there hasn't been anything interesting. What is this really news? Jack Perry says he's moved on from the Punk thing. Seth Rollins is getting more used to going to Saudi Arabia. That's the news this week. That's how boring it is. Merry Christmas to you too, Denny. Someone says Trump likes action. Don't know where that's has to do with. $600 bar bill covered with the tip with the cameo. There you go. Someone says I did nothing but expose Ric Flair, and he doesn't like to be exposed. The sneak that he is. I do believe that he's two-faced. 100%. I do believe he has a massive ego. That's what I'll say about him. Is he entertaining? Yes, he is entertaining. Seth Rollins is not a star. I will agree with you. He's one of WWE's, for the WWE fans, they like him. But for like your average football fan that might flip through the channels or whatever, I don't think that they'll necessarily find him entertaining. I don't particularly like him. And me being a guy that used to be an amateur wrestler, has done martial arts and stuff. Once he was exposed, when the fan took him down, and not okay, it's one thing the fan took you down, it exposed that you don't know how to fight for real. But then he actually went in the news the next day and said it was terrifying. He didn't even cover up for himself. So it's like, you're terrified of a fan, and I'm still supposed to take you seriously as a quote unquote world champion. Arts WV, no, you can't believe anything that Flair says. Someone had coffee enema. Oh my God. Thanks for putting that in my head. Ric Flair's mind is running out of time. I mean, we had that vote. I put up some names, and we won't get into all of them, but of some guys that seem to be towards the end of their runs. And people seem to think that Flair is likely going to be the next one to go. I hope that doesn't happen, but please, for your legacy, anyone that's close to Ric Flair, they should kind of start keeping a better eye on him. Because is it really worth the $600 to put these cameos out where you're under the influence? Is that good for your sponsorship deals? Because I can't see someone seeing these videos where you're slurring your words, talking about marriages and contradicting of yourself on your feelings of marriages, and be like, oh, let's get him to sponsor our next product. Like right now, your Woo energy drink failed, so that's already one bad thing. Someone says, and anyways, it's Christmas. Honestly, Rick, I don't want to say anything bad about you. I actually stuck up for you in a way here today, saying I don't think you were actually hammered in that video. The first video that I showed today, I don't think you were that drunk. I think you may have been buzzed, and I think there's something medically wrong with you. That's my opinion. I don't think you were appearing to be confused because of just whatever you took. Yeah, Wrestling Challenge was great in 86. By the way, speaking of medical issues, Jerry Lawler, I have been watching some videos on him lately. He's not doing very well. He says he's still going to have one more match, but he really doesn't seem to be doing very well. So I wish him the best. Yeah, most people, I agree with you, 9Gay. Most people are just watching the highlights these days. Someone's talking about Easter. My antlers are askew. Okay, thank you. Hi, Lyle. Someone says Seth is about costumes and bragging. The other thing is he seems whipped. I watched part of that interview a couple weeks ago that came out with him and the man, his wife, the man. And much like The Undertaker is whipped by his wife, it clearly appears that Seth is the bitch in the relationship with his wife, and I just can't respect that as a man. Yeah, I mean it is disheartening to see that, and as I said, I don't want to fight with Rick anymore. I really don't. I appreciate the rub he gave me, but honestly, I really hope for the best for him, and I hope that for 2026, which is just about a week away, let's hope that he can at least fix his issues up, whatever issues can be fixed, and we don't see any more videos like this in 2026. And people remember Rick from the 85 era to like 2002. Let's remember him for the good stuff, not for all the really bad stuff, because he was one of the all-time greats.